Hey you guys, welcome back to the craft day. It has been a minute since I've done my last tutorial, and since the last time I have become a fiber artist, it has taken over. So I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this lovely Infiniti scarf. If you want yours less thick than mine, I would tell you how many rows that I did to make this scarf. If you make yours my length, you can always roll it in to make it less thick. I also made it long enough so it will go over my head if I choose to. It has been really cold outside, so thank you guys. I want to take a minute and thank my returning subscribers and my new subscribers, and if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button. But let's head over to the craft day.
Okay, so while I thread this pin in with my 4-weight yarn, the loom that you see in the background is a long loom, and this is what we're using for this project. This pin technique that I'm using helps with tension, and this is the way that you do your slip knot. It's similar to the process for when you're tying your shoes, except you don't do the bow part. We're going to be doing the knit one, purl one to keep our project from rolling on the ends. And what you see me starting with is the knit one row step first, and then that is knit one is basically a knit stitch. In other words, it's basically an E-stitch, and this is basically how you secure your rows in. The next step is the purl one row, and it doesn't require me to push all my pegs down, so this is how you purl one. Okay, so in the purl one row, as you just saw, you basically hold a strand of yarn under, put your knitting hook in from the top of your loop, and pull the bottom strand of yarn up to the top. Then you're going to lift it off the peg and push it to the back, and that will be your purl one is your new loop. I should have let go of that extra yarn right here to keep that from happening. So just make sure you're not holding tension on the bottom strand of yarn so that your loop does not come out when you're replacing the loop. And don't forget to always give it a nice little tug after each loop. Now I'm going to go through and push all the pegs down so I can start my knit one row. I knitted and purled one for 6 rows to keep my project from doing like a rollover when I take it off, which also results in a garter stitch. Here I'm doing a color change, and so I'm going to do the magical knot. You can just take 2 strands of yarn and tie them in a knot together, but I don't want to see any of my yarn hanging, like any strands hanging. So this keeps from having any extra yarn hanging out, even in the inside of your project. And that's basically to make my project thicker. My Infiniti scarf is also going to be in tube form, so that's why I'm doing a continuation around the whole entire loom on one side. Okay, so this is African theme, and my bag, y'all, I forgot to include that I did use green, but this is how you cast it off. So at the end, I realized that my cast off was getting tight. So I released these off the peg, and I'm just going to replace them once I get to the end where it would loosen up some. So now I'm attempting to put them back. But you have to be very careful with this because you can possibly lose your loops. So do this very carefully. So your cast off should look something similar to this. You can also do a garter or knit one, purl one on the end of your project, but I decided not to do that, and you kind of notice that mine is doing a slight roll. Then you're going to knot your last loop to secure it. I noticed that I had some extra spacing here. So what I'm going to do is just loop these in between each other as if I were looping them on the long loom. And then I'm going to tie a knot in the last loop. And then secure another knot on this loop as well. Don't forget to secure your other end.